Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Today I decided to address our community in the same way that Deborah did in the book of Shoftim in the day of the judges, when she stood in the gap until a strong male leader was willing and ready to accept his role and his calling. You know, all my life I've searched for the truth. I'm 73 years old enough for some of you to be your mother, yet young enough to still be your colleague. Now, after seeing what happened to Rabbi Percy, my whole perspective of length of days has changed. I know that our God called him home for whatever his reasons. And who are we to question? It was simply his time. I've given my life to this work since 1989, before Percy at the time, Rhonda and the boys moved to Montreal. I've changed my career many times, always trying to give myself fully to whatever I believed in and what I wanted others to know. Let's not be afraid of change. Let's be afraid of being too comfortable. Life is a journey, and the decisions that we make today will affect us for the rest of our lives. I have had to make many major decisions in my life, but always lived by my convictions, even when I found out later that I was breaking the commandments. I didn't see it that way at the time, but there were always boundaries that I lived within. Sadly, some boundaries I allowed to be imposed upon me by others. The Creator gave us specific and clear boundaries which protect us from ourselves and from those who are waiting to take advantage of us. That's why I tell young parents, invest time and energy into setting healthy boundaries for your children. They're entering a world where they need to be equipped to make the right choices, as we also do. I'm so glad that I serve the God of beginning again, as Rabbi Percy calls him. And as I grow and change by doing teshuvah, turning to him, acknowledging what I have done, and making restitution, something not only physical happens, but it happens at a spiritual level where curses from the past are broken. My life is now on an upward spiral, not the downward one that I was on in my 30s. I can attest by the results in my own life. And after 60 years of searching, this way of living the Torah, I have found to be the truth. The light of the Torah shines brightly in us, so let's not be afraid of what's happening in the world, but let's stand together with what we have learned and will continue to learn from our Rabbi. Do you think that just because he's gone, we stop learning from him? He said to me that he has nothing left to teach, especially if we're not living it. What is the use of learning it? People are still learning from Rabbi Maimonides, the Rambam, Rabbi Nachman of Breslov. We are learning from Moshe, from Rabbi Yeshua, and from our Rabbi Percy. We're under God's covering, his kapara, his sukkah, as long as we are obedient. It doesn't mean that we'll be spared from death or from suffering. It only means that he is walking through this life with us. When we stood at the base of Mount Sinai, we said, first in Exodus 19:8, all that the Lord has spoken, we will do. This was before Moshe ascended the mount. It's repeated again in Exodus 24:2. Kol hadebarim asher daber Adonai naaseh. All the words which Adonai has said, we will do. Then in Exodus 24:7, he took the book of the covenant, HaSefer HaDibrit, and he read it in the hearing of the people. And they said, all that the Lord has said, we will do and obey. Naaseh v'nishma. The mandate of this community is to do what is written, what I just read. This is what allows us to be or legoyim, light to the nations. Let me read a little excerpt from Isaiah 42, verses 5 to 10 and 23 to 25, but I recommend that you read the whole of Isaiah 42. It says, so God the Lord, the creator of heavens, and the one who stretched them out, who spread out the earth and what springs from it, who gave a soul to the people upon it and a spirit to those who walk thereon. I am the Lord. I called you with righteousness, and I will strengthen your hand. And I formed you and I made you for a people's covenant, for a light to the nations, to open blind eyes, to bring prisoners out of the dungeon, who sit in darkness out of a prison. I am the Lord, that is my name, and my glory I will not give to another, nor my praises to the graven images. The former things, behold, they have come to pass, and the new things I tell, before they sprout, I will hear. Sing to the Lord a new song, his praise from the end of the earth, those who go down to the sea, and those therein, the islands and their inhabitants. Who among you will listen to this, will hearken and hear for the future? Who subjected Jacob to plunder and Israel to spoilers? Was it not the Lord? This, that we sinned against him, and they did not want to go in his way and did not hearken to his Torah. We didn't have to invent a new constitution. Rabbi Yeshua called his people to return to what Moshe wanted us to do. He brought us back to the simple 10 Commandments, the simple message at Mount Sinai. This was Rabbi Percy's message to us, in spite of what every religion is telling us, including Messianic Judaism. He said it over and over in his last years with us. Let us not mourn his passing, although it leaves a great void in our lives, but let us rejoice in his calling. He called Sukkoth the festival of the end and the beginning again. It is a time of simchatenu, rejoicing. Will we as a community say, we will do, and we will obey? We just heard the commandments read out loud, as if we ourselves, both Jew and Gentile, were standing together at the base of Mount Sinai. What more do we need? Do we need to spend our time searching for the hidden things which God has not revealed to us? I know they're attractive. I spent years searching the mystical. Or will we spend time using simple formulas, which our rabbi gleaned from the scriptures? Now let me compare his formula to these high holidays that we're in right now. When we walk in a relationship with the God of Israel, and not the gods of our own making, we begin by acknowledging what we do and who we are. That's the hardest part. That's when we blow our own shofar. That's our personal wake-up call, our Yom Teruah. Next, we move from emunah, faith, which is God's gift to us so that no one can boast, as Rabbi Shaul said. Then we move to bitachon, trust. Every time we take a step of faith to act upon what we have just acknowledged, something amazing happens. It's called a paradigm shift. It is life-changing, not only on a physical level, but a spiritual one, as I said before, where family curses are broken unto the 1,000th generation. I've seen that in my own family. This fortifies our free will, bechira hofshit, which is another gift of our Creator. It helps us to make better decisions with responsibility because the Lord, the Torah, gives us wisdom. We are able to humble ourselves and to listen to others around us who care about us. And finally, we can rest in the knowledge that although people around us may judge us by the sight of their eyes, only our Borei Olam knows our kavanah, the intention of our hearts. That's our Yom Kippur. Now, as we enter our Sukkoth, we rejoice knowing that it is never too late to turn our lives around and over to the Creator and live His way, not ours. He's a God of beginning again. Our walk is simple, but it's far from easy. There is a lot of pain in growth. They're called growing pains. How easy is it when someone hurts us to go to that person and tell them what they did, how it made us feel, and then for both of us to be humble enough to admit the truth about what happened and be willing to forgive one another. Right now, the world is shaking its fist at the Creator in every way once again. We've seen this before in history. It's not new. Noah's flood, Sodom and Gomorrah, the Pharaoh in Egypt, and countless other stories in our Bible. So now, as we turn a new page in our community, I see our situation as if our rabbi is far away somewhere, maybe on a beautiful beach with no phone and no internet. He can't contact us, but he is happy in the knowledge that he left us with the tools to continue growing. We have a lot of work to do after the holidays are over. I've been here from beginning and even before, and I will be here to the end. Who will walk with me on this next stage of our journey at Shear Yashuv and be the remnant that returns to the mighty God of Israel? Joshua, an Israelite, and Caleb, a Kenizzite, a Gentile, both with a heart for the Borei Olam, biyachad, together. Shabbat Shalom and Hag Sukkot Sameach.